think in general, the connection between the general public and farming is a little limited. I think over the years, our supermarkets have done an amazing job providing food that's totally accessible to the general public, the consumer, all year round. And us as consumers have somewhat forgotten about where food is produced, the amount of energy, effort and energy that goes into producing it on farms. So there is a disconnect, although that is getting much better now with the work that people like the Farmer's Guardian are doing and other farming magazines, countryside shows, farmers who are getting on to FaceTime the farmer and doing their blogs. That's really helping. I think farming is perceived fairly positively by the public, really. I think shows like Country File that I'm on and other farming programmes showcase agriculture. And if you went out into the cities and did a poll and asked about the popularity of farmers, I think it would be quite high. I think people realise that we're custodians of the landscape. We have some of the best regulation when it comes to employment law, animal welfare, the way we manage the environment. We need to get those messages out there, of course, a lot more, but I think generally the perception of farming is quite good. I think there's a lot more that we as farmers, the farming press, the media can do to connect the consumer, the general public, to the British landscape and to the farming and rural domain. And the Farming Can campaign is brilliant, been running for a number of years now, helping to make that connection. Podcasts that farmers are doing. I think Leaf, Linking Environment and Farming, do an amazing job with Open Farm Sunday and FaceTime a Farmer, taking that into schools. So, there are tourist enterprises like the one we have here at the Cotswold Farm Park and many other open farms across the country that are making that connection. And then, of course, our agricultural shows. The Royal Three Counties show, of which I'm an ambassador, do an amazing job at making that connection as a serious agricultural show, but welcoming the customers who may not know anything about farming and helping to educate them. We're here at the Cotswold Farm Park today launching this year's Royal Three Counties show. And the Royal Three Counties and many other shows all around the UK do an amazing job at helping to promote British agriculture and showcase food and farming in the UK. And it's a great way of the general public coming from cities and villages and also from the countryside into a site where they can get close up to farm animals, farm machinery, talk to farmers, talk to producers and get a better understanding about the way the countryside is managed and what's going on farms. So at the moment there are a huge amount of challenges for British farmers. There's a lot of change going on, political change, the change in the government support schemes. Of course we have those challenges that are out of our control, the weather, political change, exchange rates, dealing with global commodity prices. And as farmers, we need to be very entrepreneurial, very innovative, we need to be business-minded. But I really believe there are some huge success stories in agriculture, and there's some wonderful opportunities in agriculture and the whole food supply chain for careers for young people. And I think sometimes our careers advisors at school forget that agriculture isn't just about milking cows or shearing sheep or driving tractors. You can be an agricultural lawyer, accountant, bank manager. There are all sorts of work, lots of work to be done in marketing, in food production, in botany, in science, so far-reaching. And technology in farming now is absolutely immense. And if you're quite techie and love playing video games, then actually farming could be for you. It may be a bit of a sweeping statement, but generally I think the general public, the consumer, are quite detached from food production. And it isn't until there's a shortage of something on the supermarket shelves that everybody panics and suddenly realises how vulnerable we are when it comes to food security. And I think our government need to concentrate on that a lot, to consider food security and the connection of food, the environment and health and well-being, because they are intrinsically linked. So once there's a food shortage, then the consumer sits up and listens and often wants to find out more about it because it's often in the news. So I've been set the challenge of giving 3 top tips for farmers to best communicate with the general public. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching and this is just advice. I would say that as part of our job as farmers, as food producers, we need to be connected with the consumer. So it may be that you work with a local school and you connect with them on a regular basis to explain to them what's going on your farm. It may be that you talk to your local coffee table magazine or radio station or television station and talk to them about what you're doing on your farm. But social media is massive, and so if you have time to be able to, set up a YouTube channel, do some blogging, get on your Instagram and talk about the challenges, but very much the positive things in farming. I think there are amazing opportunities for young people coming into agriculture, and we need to shout from the rooftops about how brilliant British farming is. So our legislation around animal welfare, the way we manage our inputs, the way we manage our outputs, our employment law, the way we look after the environment. We need to sing and shout about those things so that people don't buy cheap food from abroad that may not match our standards.